Hello folks, this is Sula speaking, and you're listening to another commentary video for League of Legends, this one featuring Singed. This is a pre-made custom game, 5v5. This is taken from our Tuesday game night, and this is much of the crew that I'm used to playing with. So in addition to me playing as Singed, we also have Bristles, who's playing as Vayne, Varus, who's playing as Trundle, Developed X, who's playing as Ashe, and Jaje, who's playing as Janna. On the other team, we have Atlas playing as Mundo, we have Cole playing Jax, Seirun playing as Amumu, Mookie playing as Twisted Fate, and Speaker playing as Malzahar. Speaker uses the username Sideberg for League of Legends, and Atlas has the username Bertrand Horned, as Speaker and Atlas are commonly taken in online gaming stuff like this. So anyway, here's the matchups here. This was I think the most interesting, the best game that we did. We actually did 5 games on this particular Tuesday, and this game was the most competitive and the most interesting one. So I'm going to put this one up here on YouTube for you guys to cast. You can see the summoner choices and you can see the 2 lineups here, and we should be just about ready to get started as soon as Cole's connection finishes going through. In terms of this matchup, I was looking to play Singed. This is actually the first time that I've played Singed. I don't have much experience with this champion. I actually believe it was the first game that I ever played with Singed. I'm not even sure that I've played against bots before, but I have seen other people play Singed, so I have a little bit of an idea of how to play with this guy. So we're going to both be watching the actual match that takes place, and we're also going to be keeping an eye on, I'll be talking a little bit about Singed as a champion, a little bit how to build him, certain things that work well, things that don't work well, that sort of thing. So we'll try to get that. When I did one of these, I think it was one of the CLG games recently, St. Vicious was playing Singed. St. Vicious is well known for playing Singed and playing him very well. I mean, you won't see that level of play from me here, but I will have more of a chance to talk about builds and that sort of thing. Anyway, so as far as Singed goes, I'm just going to highlight his passive here while we're I was just sort of waiting around at the start of the game. You can see that Singed gains additional health for every mana, 2.5 health for every 10 mana that he has. So this is one reason why Singed makes for a good tank. He's sort of naturally tanky to begin with, and then with his passive, he'll get a lot of extra health if you build more mana. So that's one of the reasons why you can see I've started with the Sapphire Crystal and 2 health pots. That is to scale along with this passive. You can see that by getting the Sapphire Crystal, which gives you 200 mana, I go from 260 to 460, and that's a pretty significant boost at the start of the game. Anyway, here you can see our lineups of the games. We have our carries, our solo lanes are going to be Bristol's playing Vayne and Developed playing Ashe. Then we're going to have a Singed Janna bottom lane, and Varus is going to be jungling with Trundle. As far as their team, they're going to have Twisted Fate, Mookie's Twisted Fate, and Speaker's Malzahar in the solo lanes. You can see they're all grouped up around blue buff. We had no intention of going and trying to fight them at level 1. We thought that their level 1 team was a lot stronger than ours because they have Mundo, very good at level 1, Twisted Fate's pretty good at level 1, Jax does a lot of damage at the start of the game, so we weren't really interested in fighting them at level 1. And you can see Varus is actually going to start here at mini golems, and then he's going to work his way around from this point. So as I said, yeah, let's see, Twisted Fate and Malzahar are going to be 2 of the solo lanes. The down here on bottom, we're going to be up against Atlas's Mundo and Cole's Jax, and then Seirun is going to be jungling with the Mumu as expected. So you can see here's Twisted Fate, Mookie's playing Twisted Fate in mid, and Speaker will make his way up the top lane, and there he is. You can see Speaker against Bristol in that top lane. Anyway, Vayne, the newest champion, we'll get to see a little bit of the Vayne gameplay. As I record this, Vayne is the newest champion in League of Legends. Vayne is considered to be pretty overpowered at the moment. Vayne is getting banned in all the rank games, so Vayne will probably be getting a nerf sometime in the near future, but we'll see what Riot decides to do with her. Alright, anyway, in terms of Singed skills, let me try to go through and highlight his skills here. You can see I put my first point in this, his Poison Trail. You can see this is a toggle on-off switch, basically. It says 1 second cooldown, so it's basically something you toggle on or off. When it's on, Singed lays down a poisonous trail that deals magic damage per second to anyone who's in it. So, however, it costs, you can see 13 mana per second. So Singed's poison is one of the things that makes him unique. You can see right there I turned it on just to poison those minions, and you can see the little poison icon appearing over them showing that they take damage. So this is one thing that makes Singed unique as a tank. He's extremely good at pushing waves of minions. He can turn on his poison and poison the minions, and they die very quickly. And like I said, it's an on-off switch, so you can turn on the poison very quickly and then turn it back off again. Anyway, here in the lane we're trying to harass Cole. We're not really trying to harass Atlas. He's Mundo. He's going to be very hard to harass in any sort of meaningful way. Oh, and up there in top lane, Bristol is able to get first blood against Speaker, so that is going to help us out a bit. As I said, Singed very good at pushing because of the way his poison works. It doesn't really cost that much mana to use, and you can do a lot of damage. Oh, right there, you can see you're getting in a lot of damage on Cole. Anyway, so I mentioned his poison. His next skill that I put a point in at level 2 was his E skill. You can see right there. Singe picks up and tosses an enemy. Singe flings an enemy over a soldier, dealing 100 plus 0 magic damage. You can see there. You can see that the range is very small. You have to be right next to somebody to toss them. But it's one of the few skills in this game that allows you to reposition someone. And all of the repositioning skills in this game are very strong. If you think of things like Blitzcrank's grab, or like the Gragas's ultimate with the barrel toss, or any kind of knockback skill. A couple different champions have them. All of these skills are very good, just because the ability to reposition champs is great. Like right there, I'm going to toss Cole back, and look how much damage we're doing to Cole here. And he's on one hit, but we can't quite finish him off. And unfortunately, we're right next to the tower, so we can't dive and get that. So the fling, another one of the abilities that makes Singe really good. It's one of the things that it's probably his best known ability. He's going to pick people up and toss them. So generally with Singe, what you want to do is you are really tanky, so you run in and you fling someone to reposition them. And then you try to get people to chase you, and while they're chasing you, they're running in your poison trail. Now his final skill, his W skill, goes along with his fling. You can see it's called Mega Adhesive. Leaves a sticky area on the ground for 5 seconds. Slows enemies in the area by 35%. So this is a skill that doesn't do any damage, but it will slow any enemy that passes into it. And I really thought I dodged that cleaver, but oh well. So in order to play as Singed, if you want to try to chase people down, and the way you do that is you throw down your sticky goo on the ground, and then when they're slowed, that allows you to catch up to them and fling them, and then reposition them. So that's really sort of how this champion works. Singe is a champ who also works well with extra movement speed. So for this game, the fact that we have Janna on our team helps a lot. I'm going to get that movement speed boost. You can see Tailwind increases movement speed by 3%. Also a nice champion to get move speed quints on. Really good, makes him really good for chasing. You can also try to get mobility boots or boots of swiftness. But in here we have a gank coming in from Varus. You can see there goes a flash. There's a nice pillar, and I'm trying to get Cole to pick up and toss him, but I accidentally grab Atlas instead, which was a real mistake on my part. There's the goo. So we are doing a lot of damage to Atlas here, but the problem is if I had picked up and thrown Cole earlier, then that would have been a kill for sure. And instead, I'm going to get stunned by a Seirun Bandage Toss at the tower, and you can see I'm going to get killed. So that was a really poor misplay on my part. I really messed that up for the team. If you notice, we had an exhaust come in. I think that was my exhaust, not 100% sure. Yeah, that was my exhaust. You can see I dropped my exhaust on Cole because I meant for us to throw Cole, but I just missed. I misclicked. I clicked on Atlas instead of Cole. So we actually ended up picking up and tossing Mundo. So we didn't get any kills. Instead of killing Cole, we just got no kills instead, and that was a really bad play. But anyway, Varus is going back in for a gank again here. You can see he used his pillar. Jade's going to hit on the slow. There's the knock-up, and they actually are going to kill Atlas there. Meanwhile, Seirun was coming down, but looks like he's going to back off. And so we're not going to kill Cole, but we are going to kill Atlas. Is a little bit surprising, but I shouldn't have died there. There was really no reason for me to die. It was a nicely executed jungle gang. And now we're going to go in on Seirun here. Seirun and Cole again. There's the goo to try to slow them. I want to try to throw Cole, but he just manages to get out. Anyway, there is a lot of action going on. In top lane, Bristles was able to get a kill in top lane on Speaker, but then Mookie popped his ultimate. He is level 6. Ignore what the interface is saying. He is actually level 6. He popped his teleganked Bristles in top lane and was able to get a kill there. Meanwhile, in bottom lane, we're still trying to go after Cole. You can see, like, right now I'm trying to catch him, but Seirun's going to bandage toss in and stop me there. One thing that you have to keep in mind is, as I said, I hadn't played Singe before this game, so I really didn't know what I was doing for the first part of this game. I wasn't doing a very good job, and I was just trying to sort of figure this out. I mean, I've seen people play Singe before on live stream and in other games, but as anyone knows who's played this game, it's one thing to watch someone else play a champ, it's another thing to actually play them yourselves. So I would be making a lot of mistakes, and those ganks, that gank early on where we really should have killed Cole, was definitely on my part, and it was a major misplay. Okay, so finally, since now that we sort of have a break in the action here, I'm just going to mention Singe's ultimate here. You can see Insanity Potion drinks a potent brew of chemicals, granting him 35 of a whole bunch of different stats. So if you look here, you can see you get extra ability power, armor, magic resist, movement speed, health regen, and mana regen, as well as reducing crowd control effects. And it lasts for a long time, too. You can see it lasts for 25 seconds. So his ult lasts for quite a while, and it just gives him a boost to a whole bunch of stats. Now, the stats that are most important, generally, with Singe's ultimate are his movement speed. So you can see 35 extra movement speed. That's pretty significant. He does get armor and magic resist, so that helps make him more tanky while he's running his ult. And then finally, the other thing is, this is a relatively recent change in League of Legends. He gets a reduction of crowd control effects on him by an extra 10%. So before that, Singed ultimate used to give, I believe, I believe it used to give him extra attack speed. They changed that, and they changed it to extra crowd control reduction. And most people feel that that actually made Singed a better champ because he didn't really need attack speed, but reducing crowd control effects on him, really good. So anyway, that's his ultimate. You'll see me using it later. This is another reason why Singed is really good at pushing in this game. That is, you can push in a side lane. Well, okay, I'll get to that in a second. Here comes a gank in from bottom. Seirun coming in, going to use his ultimate. What we need, Jaje is going to counter with his own Janna Monsoon. Really well done there. Is he going to be able to make it out? There's the flash. There's the Janna shield. I'm going to pick up and toss Atlas into the tower. And that actually is possibly going to get Jaje killed. So that may not have been the right play there, but it does ensure that we're going to get a kill on Mundo, on Atlas's Mundo. So to be honest, I think that actually went okay. Now here they come in trying to gank me, and I'm in a whole lot of trouble here, but they are going to back off. You can see I popped my ultimate there for the extra move speed, so I am going to be able to get away from that. I really shouldn't have gone back in on Seirun because Cole was still lurking in the area. And now I'm going to port out before they have a chance to dive me. So in that play there, I think it was worth it to toss Atlas into the tower. Even though Jaje got killed, at least that way we were able to go 1-for-1, despite the fact that it was a 3-man gank and there were only 2 of us in bottom lane. So to go 1-for-1 in a 3-man gank, I think that was a pretty good, and Seirun's going to take some tower shots there. Alright, anyway, there have been kills elsewhere on the map. I'm not following them all, in part because if you're watching this, you know that the health bars get really buggy on the replay system when you're not looking at wherever my camera happened to be focused at the moment. You can see everyone on my team, their health bar disappears if I'm not looking at them on the map. The enemy health bars seem to work okay for some reason. It's really a shame because the replay client didn't used to do this. It used to not bug out with the health bars, but then Riot did something in one of the patches. They did something with like the shaders or something, and it ended up breaking the replay system and messing it up. So unfortunately, yeah, we're stuck with this. There's not much I can do. The only other thing I can do is just record in fraps while I'm playing, but then I can't move the camera around to look at different stuff. So really, we just have to deal with it. I know some people have mentioned in the videos, it's like, why are the health bars so buggy? Well, it's because we don't really have a replay system, and we're sort of using this unofficial thing that doesn't really work that great. So sorry guys, but I can only work with the tools we have available for this game. Anyway, as I was saying before, I've gone through the Singed skills, so let me talk a little bit about itemization, what I've been building here. You can see right now we have had a telegank going on in top lane. You can see Mookie popped Twisted Fate ult and was able to kill Bristol's Fane there. Very frustrated. Bristol said he was pretty frustrated during this game because he kept getting ganked by a teleporting Twisted Fate, and there is only so much you can do about that, not a whole lot you can do. But in terms of items, you can see on my first trip back to base, I picked up boots and I picked up some health pots. You can see I've replenished them since. I'm building towards Catalyst as my first real item. Catalyst really good for Singed, allows him to just stay in lane for a very, very long amount of time. I'm actually going to build that straight in the Rod of Ages, which is useful on Singed. Singed actually does want to build some ability power. He's a good ability power champ. Anyway, up in top lane, you can see Seirun getting a kill on Varus, and Varus got the kill on Mookie, so we go 1-for-1 there in top lane. That's where most of the action is taking place. Jaje and I just laning down here in bottom up against Cole's Jax. And meanwhile, Atlas doing a little bit of pushing in mid. We thought that Bristol's was going to go mid to stop that, but for some reason, I think he was heading top instead. So anyway, as I said, Catalyst, good item on Singed. You do want to build some ability power on Singed. He's sort of tank plus a little bit of ability power. If you can get enough ability power on Singed, his abilities actually do a lot of damage. Most notably, his Fling. Fling does have a 1-to-1 ability power ratio. So, I mean, it's getting +0 at the moment because I don't have any ability power, but you'll see later on, once I start building some AP, that I'll be getting a lot more damage on that. His Poison doesn't scale particularly well, but it does scale with ability power as well. His ult does not scale. So he only gets scaling on 2 skills, his Q and his E, but nonetheless, the ratio is 1-to-1 on his Fling, so that's really good, and it's pretty decent on his Poison as well. As far as what I've done in skilling, I put 1 point in each of his 3 skills at levels 1, 2, 3, and then at levels 4 and 5, I put points in Poison. And then after I finish up maxing Poison at level 9, I'm going to max Fling next, and then I'll max up his goo last, because his goo doesn't actually deal damage. It does increase the slow with more points in it, but 35% slow is already pretty good. I'm happy to sort of stick with that. Pun intended, stick with that. And then I'll go back and try to max it later. Although I actually misclicked. I actually meant to put another point in Fling here, and I actually put a second point in Adhesive, so oops. That was a mistake. I actually wanted to skill my Fling next, but I put a point in Adhesive. So, now I'll get 45% slow. Anyway, over here you can see we are keeping an eye on what's going on. You can see we have sort of caught Atlas here. So there's the pillar from Varys' Trundle, and right there I'm going to toss down the goo, and Atlas is going to flash over my sticky adhesive, so he is going to escape, but he's going to have to burn his flash. And there you can see I actually popped my ultimate while this was going on. Because I assumed we were going to engage there. I wanted to chase. It's not that big a deal to pop Singe's ultimate. It is on a relatively short cooldown, and like I said, his ult lasts for quite a while. You can see it lasts, as I said, for what, 25 seconds, so it's up for quite a while. Anyway, up once again in top lane, Mookie going up there. I'm not sure, I don't think that he ulted in that time, but Mookie, if you've watched these videos before, Mookie's playstyle, Mookie likes to gank other lanes. He doesn't like to stay in one lane. He always would, like, quite frequently, if he's in mid, he'll head to the other lanes to gank over and over again. And sometimes that works really, really well, and sometimes it doesn't work so well, but generally that's just his playstyle. So Mookie's been going up to top lane quite a bit over and over again throughout this game, and he's been able to get quite a few kills on Bristol's. You can see Bristol's has died twice, so they've been able to get several kills up there in top lane. So that's been going on throughout the game. Meanwhile, here in bottom lane, we're still just laning back and forth. If you want to look at the farming stats real quickly here, you can see I haven't done that great of a job, only 31 minion kills, but Jajay also has 32, so we've been splitting the farm here. Here, trying to go in on Cole, and I'm trying to grab him, but for some reason not able to. Gonna turn on my poisons. You can see they are getting poisoned by chasing me. You always have to be careful about chasing a Singed because of his poison. Now, anyway, Sarun is right up here, and we saw him coming in. Jajay is a little slow to react. There he goes, gonna use that Janna ultimate. Going to work really, really well. There's the goo to try to slow them down, and Jajay is going to flash away, so that we're actually going to be able to escape that gank pretty well. I mean, I think that Sarun did a decent job. The only thing he missed on was the bandage toss, but between using my goo and Jajay getting a really nice ult and then also flashing to get away, we just were able to defend against that pretty well. So here you can see I've turned on my poison. I'm trying to poison the minions as a way of trying to stop this wave from pushing our tower, and then you can see Jajay's going to use Tornado to help out. So kind of tough to push a Singed Janna lane. Anyway, here Bristol's and Varys were coming down. I actually was a little slow to react here. I didn't realize that they were coming down, but you can see they got out well ahead of time, so I'm pretty sure that they had that warded. Looks like they saw that coming. So once again, I'm going to pop my ult, and nothing's really going to happen aside from the fact that I get a little extra ability power. And you can see right now, while I have my ult running, that Fling does indeed have that 1-to-1 AP ratio. So anyway, that was a wasted ult. Oh well, that sucks, but not too much I can do. And right now, I'm actually going to head back to base. See, I assumed that Sarun was going to head to another lane. I didn't think that he was going to stick around here, but as it turns out, they actually are going to continue pushing with 3 in bottom lane. At that point, I realized that I probably shouldn't have gone back to base, because now Jajay's the only one here, and they still have 3 pushing on this lane. So in retrospect, that was a really bad decision to back, but at least we do have Janna's shield to help protect the tower. But still, this is unnecessary damage that didn't need to come in on this tower. That was just me expecting them to do something different than they actually did down here. But still, tower didn't take too much damage, so we're going to come out okay. And you can see now I'm back for this next wave. So I missed 1 wave of enemy minions, and that was key because on that trip back, it allowed me to finish my catalyst and also to get Merc Treads. So that's what I was going for. Want the crowd control reduction, want the magic resist down here. You might think that Jax would do physical damage, but actually most of his damage early game is magic damage. When he jumps on you, his leap attack is magic damage, and his, I think it's his Empower or something like that, the skill that he combos with his leap attack, that's also magic damage. So, like I said, you'd think that he'd be mostly physical, but he actually does a lot of magic damage. So you really need both armor and magic resist for this lane with the Mundo and Jax pairing. There, Develop's going to miss on hitting Mookie with the arrow, but he is going to hit Sarun, and Sarun is quite low, and indeed, yep, there we go. Going to get that kill in middle lane, and that's significant because it's going to take the double buff that Sarun had running and transfer it over to Varys, so that's going to help. Meanwhile, Cole, we've kind of caught out Cole here a little bit, so I'm going to pop my ghost there. There's the goo, but Cole's going to flash, so I did ghost there, but his flash is down. Anyway, there, another telegank in top lane. So this is what Bristol's was getting so frustrated by. You can see Mookie just teleganks into top lane, and Speaker ults him, and then Mookie comes in, and the two of them just clean up a kill. And there's really very, very little he can do. Anyway, here we're pushing on this tower a little bit, and there we go, going to toss Cole. Just going to fling away from the tower and poison him in all the while. So just do a little damage. And there we go, going to continue poisoning him. He does have pretty good magic resist. You can see Cole does have 62 magic resist, so he's not going to take that much damage. But Jax inherently not that tanky as a character. Just doesn't have that much health overall until he starts building attack damage, and then it'll attack damage and ability power. He will get some from his passive, but doesn't have too much of that quite yet. So not going to be all that tanky of a champion. Okay, in terms of the game overall, you can see it's quite close. It's 8-8 in overall kills. Let's see, I think in terms of towers, their team is slightly ahead. Yeah, because they have top tower down. We don't have any towers down. In terms of dragons, someone took a dragon. I actually missed that on here. I can't remember if it was our team or theirs that took that first dragon. So sorry for missing that, but somebody did take that. Since I wasn't watching, I'm going to assume that it was their team, but it might have been ours and I just missed it. In terms of the farming stats, one thing that's working really well for our team is Developed is getting super farmed as Ash. You can see he's already has 100 minion kills, and that's ahead of anyone else. I mean, well, Atlas is surprisingly the closest. You wouldn't think Dual Lane Mundo would be the closest, but he actually is. Anyway, down here, continuing to engage with Cole, you can see I'm starting to get a little bit more farmed up down here. Now that my poison has gotten leveled up, it deals a lot more damage, and it's easier to take down these minions. Here we go, we're trying to get Cole. I'm going to slow him with my goo, but I can't quite catch him. There we go, going to catch up and chase him. And he is quite low, but we don't want to dive that tower. You can see Jaje's doing a really nice job of shielding me, allowing me to play aggressive. Every time I get that Janna shield, allows me to run in there with a lot of, maybe not reckless abandon, but allows me to be a lot more aggressive. Now here you can see Varus is lurking in the brush. What we want to do is we want to push these our minions to tower. As soon as we get our minions up to the tower, we can consider diving Cole. I don't think that Cole knows that Varus is here. So now that we've got this minion wave pushed up, now he can go in, now he can play aggressive. So here we go, there's the goo, gonna get in the fling, gonna toss him back, and right now there's the knockup for the tornado. I'm gonna walk out of tower range because the tower was shooting me from that fling, and that's gonna allow us to get the kill. So that was very nicely done. But once again in top lane, gonna have Mookie ult the top. Speaker just pops his ult, and then while he's frozen, Mookie can just start DPSing Bristol. So again, as he said, very frustrating, not much he could do. Gonna take down this tower meanwhile in bottom lane though, and their Atlas is gonna have to burn ult and flash in order to get out. Otherwise, I think we could have chased him down there. So we're gonna take this tower and get that kill on Cole. And to be fair, Cole really hasn't played Jax pretty much ever. Cole's played Jax as much as I played Singed, so. Here we really didn't want to chase this. I mean, we were considering, but I mean, Atlas is Mundo. He's going to be very tough to kill. It just didn't seem like this was a good idea. So you can see I popped my ultimate here. I mean, we were sort of thinking about engaging this. We do have numbers, but now Mookie's coming in, and yeah, it just seems like a bad idea. So I'm going to just run out of here. And you can see how much faster I run with that when I've got my ultimate running. You can see 446 is pretty good speed. And let's see, what do I get? I actually get 50 movement speed when I pop my ultimate, and I now have 20% reduced crowd control effect. So that's pretty good. We thought that they were going to do Dragon here, and indeed it looks like they are going to do Dragon here. So you can see them starting it. That is one downside because we took a lot of damage diving this tower. That meant that now we really are not in a position to challenge this Dragon. And let's see, I think Jaje's going to try to steal it with Tornado, but no, not going to get it. So their team is going to take that. So I'm, again, not sure if they're ahead 2-0 in Dragons or if it's 1-1. Again, probably should have been paying more attention to that. But now here they come. You can see four of them coming mid, 3 of us here defending mid. I'm still over here. I'm still heading to bottom lane. I'm going to try to start split pushing with Singed here. You can see I picked up a ward. I'm going to toss a ward down here. As long as I have this ward, I'm relatively safe to keep farming over here. I do have Ghost. My ult will be back up pretty shortly. Like I said, ult on a relatively short cooldown. And you can see what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to run around poisoning the minions, and then they're going to die to poison, and I'm going to keep the lane pushed. Now, there's a couple reasons why I want to do that. First of all, it lets me farm, which is always great. I mean, getting more farm on a champ is always a good thing. The other thing that it's going to do is notice that, remember, they have a Twisted Fate in this game, and up there, where's Mookie going to port in? He's going to port it. Wow, he actually missed the initial port on Bristol's. Had to burn Flash to get that gold card stun. There's Seirun's going to burn Flash too and use a Mumu ult, and that's going to take down Bristol. So they are going to get that kill, but they use 2 ults and 2 flashes to get it. So that's not as great as it might look initially. Anyway, like as I was saying, the split push is going to allow me to farm, it's going to allow me to keep the lanes pushed, but the other thing it's going to do is, keep in mind that because there's a Twisted Fate in this game, we really want to try to keep the lanes pushed as much as possible. Anyway, here we were considering coming in, so here we go. Now we're going to start ganking these guys in mid. I'm going to turn on my ult right there, and there we go. There's the goo. Oh, nice arrow from Developed. Going to go in here. I want to toss Mookie. I think I actually tossed Atlas instead, though. I have my poison running, so it's just poisoning everybody constantly. Now that Mookie's dead, we want to focus Speaker, so here we go. We're going to come after him. I'm going to try to get off my fling, and doesn't matter. We're actually going to get the kill first. I'm going to still use my poison. I actually pick up and throw Seirun, who's not really who we wanted to go for there. So I think that was a mistake. There's the goo. Not that well placed. Goo actually has further range than you might think. That sticky, mega adhesive sticky actually has pretty good range. I'll try to highlight it when it comes back up again. But still, that went pretty well. We go 2 for 1. We killed both of their carries. We killed Twisted Fate and Malzahar. Ash did get taken out, so Develop was killed. So that is, that did go in our favor. Yeah, I mean, look here. You can see that the range for that mega adhesive is pretty good. It's further than you would think. And again, as I said, still trying to get a feel for this. Anyway, now Cole was pushing bottom lane. I actually made a mistake. I should have run the bottom lane. Instead, I started to run top, but did see that. I'm going to use my ghost here to try to get down to the lane. Did think it was important enough to use my ghost to get down here just to prevent Cole from taking this tower. I am going to get here in time to save the tower. Otherwise, the tower would have fallen, so I think it was worthwhile to do that. Now Cole's going to come in here. I'm not sure that was the right decision. So he is gonna make it away from this, but he has to burn his ghost. Also, I don't think that Cole realized that when you're playing as Jax, you can use your leap attack. You can jump to your own minions. Right there, Cole taking a little more damage, but here comes Seirun, so we're going to back, though we can't actually fight this. If I were full health, it would be different, but I'm nearly dead, so I'm going to have to go back to base, and Bristles will just have to hold this tower for the moment. Although Bristles is heading off to farm these mini-golems. I remember this in the game that Bristles was going to the mini-golems, and I was like, Bristles, can you maybe stay at that tower? I think you need to stay here. And look at that, just doing a very nice job there with Vayne, getting the knockback on Cole's Jax there, and just doing so much damage. Again, why Vayne is getting banned in every rank game. She just does so much damage right now. And what do you build to stop true percentage-based true damage? The answer to that is kind of nothing. So anyway, defending in bottom, you can see we did manage to take middle tower, and here Develop is going to go in along with Jaje. Mookie really should probably not be trying to pick that fight there, but Speaker going to come in and counter gank this. Jaje doing a nice job with ultimate, but not able to save Develop. Like, there's the Amumu ult from Seirun, and now they're going to come after Jaje, and they are going to finish him off. So that what looked like a really nice play on our part to pick off Mookie then goes bad as they counter gank that with Speaker's Malzahar and Seirun's Amumu, and doing a really nice job. So they go 2 for 1 and come out ahead there. You can see it's still very even in kills, 13-12. The other team's slightly ahead, but we've got a pretty good game going here. That is not the direction I wanted to toss Cole. I wanted to throw him back towards me. Anyway, I was trying to split push over here, and there Bristol's going to shoot Cole into the wall, get the stun effect. Now I'm going to toss down my goo. Can I chase down Cole? Yes, I am going to chase him down. And I was going to fling him back there, but it looks like Bristol's actually killed him before I could get the fling off. Anyway, so you can see we've pushed this up the tower. Now we know the enemy team's going to be coming, and indeed here they are. So Bristol's going to port out, and I'm going to head down here and try to just make sure that I'm not going to get caught by 3 members of the enemy team. Okay, so in terms of what we're trying to do here, I've said this a couple times, but just to make it clearer, we want to keep split pushing with Singed. As I've said, Singed, really good at pushing. If you look at my poison, you can see my poison does 90 magic damage per second, and it's very inexpensive in terms of mana to run it. So what I want to do is I want to keep pushing side lanes, either in bottom or in top. I want to keep pushing the lanes back. What that does is it prevents Mookie's Twisted Fate from ulting in and backdooring towers. Like, see, right now, there's a big minion wave pushing top. So if we are all, say, mid, say we're fighting back and forth, let's say there's a 5-on-5 in mid over by this tower. If we're just all 5 in mid, then Mookie can pop his ult, and all of a sudden he's over here, and wow, he's doing it right now. So this is a great example. He can just pop his ult, and now all of a sudden he's in top lane, and look, now he's backdooring his tower. But if we can keep the lanes pushed, he can't do this, because he can't just port right to a tower and start attacking it. He needs the minion wave in order to do this. So this is what we want to try to stop. He actually probably could have gotten in a few more shots on this tower. So what we're going to try to do is have me split push in order to prevent Mookie from doing this sort of backdooring. It's the sort of thing you have to do if you're going to try to shut down Twisted Fate. So anyway, you can see that's what I'm doing. I'm over here. I'm pushing this minion wave. Notice how we've got bottom push. We've got mid push. We don't have top push. So that's where Mookie went. And indeed, here he is. Now he has to go over to bottom lane, and he has to push this back. So that's what we're going to be looking to do over and over again. Just try to split push these lanes as a way of defending against Twisted Fate. However, notice that Mookie just used his ultimate. Remember, he just used his ult to go over here to top lane. And right now, we saw Mookie in bottom lane. And look at this. We have a ward. We can see Seirun and Atlas are going to do Dragon. So that is our cue. We are going to come over here, and we are going to do Baron while they're doing Dragon. So apparently they don't have a ward here because they're not coming to challenge us. So we are going to let them take Dragon, and we're going to take Baron off this. So again, always something you have to be aware of. If you're going to send everybody to go do Dragon, you have to be very careful that the enemy team isn't just going to do Baron. And now their team is in a lot of trouble. Cole is getting caught out here. So you can see we're going to get the pillar, we're going to get the slow, and we're going to kill him very easily. Mookie did take down this tower. He did backdoor us in bottom lane. But in the meantime, we scored Baron, and we scored a kill on Cole there. Of course, they did get Dragon as well, so they did take Dragon. But anyway, now Mookie going to pop his ult. You can see he's going to do exactly what we said before. He's going to go for top lane. He's going to back very early, though. I think he should have stuck around a little bit longer in order to try to do damage to that tower. So here we go. We're going to go back to our split push. You can see we have 4 in mid. We have Bristol's, Varus, Jajay, and Developed in mid, and then I'm going to push this top lane. Now, so they don't really want to engage here. They just want to poke at the tower and try to keep the rest of the other team over here by the tower. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to start pushing these lanes, and I'm going to just try to push this lane up here to give them something to deal with. Force the other team to head to a side lane, force them to send somebody to another lane, because this bottom lane is pushing in our favor as well. After Mookie took down that tower, and now it's pushing in our favor. So here we go, just running that poison there. You can see I'm actually healing as they do damage here, also getting a lot of nice farms. So just continuing to push this lane. So they're going to have to send somebody up here relatively soon, and if they send 2 champs top, then we'll engage mid. If they send 1 champ top, then we can come top and try to gank that, or this just opens up options for us, aside from just doing the dumb play, which would be just diving at this tower. Anyway, in here you can see there's an engagement coming in here. There's a nice Ash arrow. Speaker is going to get the kill on Varus. Jajay going to do a great job of countering that Seirun Amumu ult, and now we're doing a lot of damage. We are winning this fight here. You can see we're able to get the kill on Mookie. Bristols and Developed are just doing a ton of damage. Are they going to be able to take down Seirun? Yes, they are going to be able to take down Seirun. So we were able to force a 4-on-4 fight there in middle, no, actually I don't think Atlas was there, so I think we were able to force a 4-on-3 fight in mid. Meanwhile, on top, you can see I'm still pushing this. I am sort of slowly winning this battle against Cole. There's not all that much Cole can do. He's a little under-farmed. Yeah, he's kind of under-farmed, this Jax. He does have a Rage Blade, but that's about it. And now here comes the rest of the team coming into gank. Or we were going to, but then we saw Speaker showing up with that double buff, and we figured, well, if Speaker's there with double buff, we probably shouldn't try to pick a fight at that tower. But we did get in, well, not really much damage on the tower, but we were able to win the fight mid. Again, I'm not sure that was due to the split push or not, or if it was just due to the rest of our team fighting well. I mean, we did have Baron, so that was probably part of it. But nonetheless, we were able to keep that top lane pushed, so Mookie can't ult in top lane. You can see bottom lane is pushing on its own very slowly. It's starting to push. So this is what you want to do if Twisted Fate is in the game. Just keep those side lanes pushed. Make it so he can't ult and backdoor you. Like right now, there's no real opportunities for Mookie to backdoor us right now. I mean, where can he really go? He could ult here and start attacking the tower with no minions, but that's not going to be very effective. He can only attack it maybe 3, 4, 5 times, and then he'd just have to back. So that's not really something he can do. Alright, on that trip back to base, you can see I did pick up Rod of Ages earlier. Now that Rod of Ages gives the Catalyst passive as well, it's a better item than it was previously. You can see I've also picked up a Banshee's Veil. Again, building that extra mana, building extra magic resist. I'm going to need to go for armor next because I'm a little low on armor, but I've got pretty good magic resist. Again, remember, any mana I build will scale through this passive. You can see gains that extra health, so I'm now getting almost 500 bonus health here. Anyway, again, because the lanes are pushed, you can see once again, split push here in the bottom. I'm over here. Now, we saw Cole up here in top, so that meant that if we push with 4 in mid, then they really aren't going to have that many champs to come deal with us. Again, we're just trying to use mobility to our advantage here, trying to use mobility against this team, even though they have the global ults. And so with them all switching mid, now we're just going to come and poke at this tower bottom. So I'm going to tank this for the team. You can see I'm going to run forward here, and we're just going to start poking at this tower. Mookie's going to toss the red card. It's going to be blocked by my Banshee's Veil, getting that shield from Jajay, and we're going to have to back off here. But look, we did a lot of damage to that tower there again. So a nice push. This is sort of the opposite of a team fighting setup. We're doing more of a pushing strat than really a team fighting setup. So frequently in League of Legends, people think that like the only way to win the game is just have a big team fight, and whoever wins the team fight wins the game. But there are other ways to win too. I mean, you can do backdooring strats, pushing strats. We're more sort of doing a pushing strat. So that was a push in bottom. Now next, I head back to base because I was damaged. I'm going to heal up, and I'm going to head to top lane, and I'm going to start pushing there. So you can see we're keeping our other 4 champs around mid, and then switching them to either top or bottom as needed. But they're mostly staying around mid. While meanwhile, I just lurk on the outsides of the the outsides of the map, and then just keep trying to get those lanes pushed. So I'm going to try to push this top lane. You can see bottom is going to start slowly pushing in their favor, so we are going to have to deal with that later, but for now it's relatively pushed. There you go, getting a whole lot of poison damage that you can see. Watch that poison just cleaning up all of those minions. And that's helping me to get farmed too, so that I can become more tanky. And you can see, even though I was in a dual lane, I'm up to 17 now. I'm actually one of the higher leveled champs in the game now. Yeah, tied for highest level because I've been in a solo lane for so much. And once again, we're just forcing them on the defensive, forcing them to defend. We know that Baron's going to be up again soon. If we can have all the lanes pushed when Baron respawns, we'll have an excellent chance to just start it, and we'll have an excellent chance to just go for Baron and steal it, because they'll have to be defending the lanes that are being pushed again. So again, maybe a little bit slow. I mean, maybe it's not as exciting as the big team fight, the big decision. It's sort of the simplest way to win a game, but it's interesting to me that there are sort of these other ways you can play League of Legends. So once again, they're going to split Cole off to try to deal with me. And over here you can see we are not sure where the enemy team is, so we have to be a little bit careful. But now you can see we're pushing that top, so we are going to rotate to top lane and start to go after this. Once again, we've got mid pushed, we've got top pushed, bottom not as pushed, so bottom is a little bit dangerous. But here we go, going to go in there. I'm going to slow Cole there. Varus is going to get the slow on the pillar. We're forcing him to run away. Here comes the rest of his team, but in the meantime, we're going to continue doing damage to that tower. You can see Develop doing a great job of poking at it, and once again, now we've got that tower nearly gone, so we've nearly pushed down top and bottom. And again, we're just not engaging with this team. We don't really want to team fight with them too much. Remember, they do have a Mumu ult. If they do have that Mumu ult, which is going to deal just a lot of area of effect damage. So we're not really that interested in team fighting. Jaje, yes, Jaje can counter the Mumu ult if he gets it off in time. But if Serun lands a nice Mumu ult, they're just going to take down our team very, very easily. So anyway, right now, Twisted Fate ult, expecting Mookie to go bottom, and yep, here he goes. So we're going to respond by having me go to bottom lane again here. I believe that that's what I'm going to do. Yep, so I'm going to pop my ultimate because it's on a shorter cooldown than my Ghost. You can see Ghost 210 seconds, Insanity Potion only 100 seconds. Going to get 65 extra movement speed, so going to head down here, and Mookie is going to try to backdoor this. I'm going to do my best to try to stop him here. And so here we go, coming in here. Again, using Singed as the counter to Twisted Fate, and Mookie is going to back. Mookie actually flashes for no reason whatsoever. I wasn't going to try to engage. I'm not even sure I could beat him in a straight-up fight. So Mookie did do a lot of damage to this tower, but in the meantime, I am going to be able to save the tower, keep it up, and just keep him further away from our inhibs. The longer we can keep him away from our inhibs, the better. Anyway, there is a bit of a team fight going on here in mid. 4v4. We don't really want to fight this, so we're trying to get out of this. You can see they've done a great job of splitting up our team. We had to sort of run in all different directions, so that makes it not a good fight. Serun going to bandage trust to the Wraiths to try to get in and attack Develop there. Anyway, I'm trying to get back to the team. Now I've pushed back bottom. Bottom is going to start to push in our favor. Heading back to the team here. We need to get ready for some kind of engagement because Baron is back up. So there's going to be, next fight is going to be over this Baron, one way or the other. So now can't really go running down the bottom lane at this point. If I run bottom, they're just going to take Baron. So have to be very, very careful of that. In the meantime, I'm going to push back middle lane here, and their team looks like they are doing the same thing. Going to hang around in Baron, and let's see. We were checking to see if they had it warded, and yes, they do have it warded. See, because you can see their team is on their way over here, or maybe they didn't have it warded, but they knew that we were doing it nonetheless. So had to back off here. Unfortunately, I've taken a lot of damage from the Baron here, so I'm a little low, and that's not a good sign. At least my ult has cooled down, so if we would have a fight here, we'll be able to use it. But Varus and I are a little bit low, and that's not what you want to be going into a team fight. Being down 1500 health going into a big fight is pretty bad on your tank. You can see I'm missing a lot of health. So yeah, we're sort of at a standoff here. You can see the game's still really even. So I was initiating a recall here. I was thinking about going back to base, but then when they show up, I'm going to cancel that. And indeed, here they come. So they're sort of chasing us back, going to chase us away. Now, we have had an Oracle on Varus for a while now, so that's how we know that they... we're pretty sure they don't have words here because we had the Oracle. In any case, though, here they go. They're going to come after me. I'm going to get split off from the team a little bit, which is not what we want. But right here, unfortunately, Varus is going to get caught, and that's really bad. That's not what we wanted. So going to get picked off there. There's a nice ult from Jaje, but this is not a good initiation for us. Not the fight we wanted. I'm going on Mookie. Want to try to finish him off. Gonna get that kill. Still have my poison and ult running. So next, I really need to go on either Cole or Speaker. And so gonna go after Cole, and I'm gonna get that kill. Next, we're gonna focus on Seirun, and there we go. Actually gonna get a kill on him. And somehow this fight is going really well, even though it looked like a terrible fight at the actual initiation. So there we go. Gonna get the slow. You can see Ash Frost Arrows kiting. Got the goo. There's the toss, and that ensures that we are gonna get this kill on Atlas. So we are gonna finish him off, and somehow we scored an ace here. There, I really don't know how we got that ace because I thought our positioning was really bad in that team fight, but possibly it's because Jaje got off a really nice ult. Anyway, we would have liked to have taken Baron, but we had taken too much damage. We didn't think that we could actually get Baron. So instead, we're going to do what we can and try to push a tower. We have a little bit of time here to get free damage before the team revives. So we're going to do what we can here in mid. Now, I'm just going to get shot at by this tower. I can't stand in here for too long. I actually don't have that much armor. So yeah, you can see I'm going to have to get out. We're going to have to back. But look, we were able to get about 1,500 damage on that tower, and now we're just going to head out. So that was a nice little push there. We just got what we could off of that. Now the danger is, uh-oh, here comes Mookie. He's going to ult in, and I'm going to die here. Or am I? No, I'm not going to die because Jaje's going to use a beautiful Janna Monsoon ult to push back Mookie and is going to save my life. So once again, Janna, best support in the game, hands down. Has been for ages and ages now. Still is best support in the game. So very, very nicely done there by Jaje. Anyway, what we have to do right now is, even though we won that last team fight, and that is going to help us out, we have to head back and we have to buy very quickly, because the danger is their team just runs to Baron and does it while we're off healing, and they probably should have done that. They delayed a little bit, but maybe their champs were healing and reviving, so we had to buy really quickly. You can see I'm going to pick up Glacial Shroud. I'm going to build towards Frozen Heart as my next item. I want the armor. I want the extra mana to scale off my passive. I was missing armor. That was sort of the thing that I needed in my build. And although cooldown reduction, not that big of a deal on Singed. I mean, it doesn't hurt to get it. Singed doesn't really need that much cooldown reduction because his Q is a toggle, and his Mega Adhesive and his Fling don't really need that much cooldown reduction. But still, it doesn't hurt to have it. So now I think I'm at 15%. Yep, up to 15%, and that'll go to 20% if I finish Frozen Heart. So once again, we're right back to where we were a minute ago. We're still at another standoff over the Baron. Now, the one difference now is Varus doesn't have his Oracle. He was killed in that last team fight. So Varus does not have an Oracle here. And we are pretty sure that they have it warded, but none of us have a pink ward. I would have bought one, but I didn't have any inventory slots. Maybe I should have bought it over that other cloth armor. So we are at least just going to ward Baron for the moment. Again, the danger for our team right now is still that Twisted Fate backdoor. Like, Mookie is pushing back this minion push in bottom lane, but remember, he has his ult. He can ult in anytime he wants. If he needs to, he can ult into a team fight. So again, that's the advantage of those globals, the ability to reposition yourself on the map. So we have to be careful. Here, though, we decided to go in. I think we like the look of this engagement here. So there we go. You can see I'm going to pop ult. Give me that movement speed. There's the goo. I'd really like to get Cole or Speaker, but they're not really in range. So just going to pick up Seirun and toss him. Again, just going to try to deal damage to whoever we can, and we're actually not going to be able to kill Seirun, but we did do a lot of damage to him there. So we did manage to get off a lot of damage. There's the Twisted Fate ult. Where is Mookie going to port? He's going to port right back here to base. A little bit of a strange use. Not sure that he needed to do that. I don't think we were actually going to push in there with 5. So anyway, but we got him to use Twisted Fate ult, which was really good. We wanted to get that down if possible. So we're not going to push the base, but we are going to head down here, and I'm going to head back to start pushing this lane again. Again, we feel relatively safe to do this at the moment because Twisted Fate ult is down. The one problem, though, is we have to be worried about the same thing that happened to us earlier in the game. If you remember, they sent champs down the bottom lane, and while they were doing Dragon, we went and took Baron. So they actually have the chance to turn that around and do the same thing to us here. We have to be a little bit careful of that. I mean, if I'm down here in bottom lane and they send 5 to Baron, and then they just straight through Baron, that could be really bad for us. Excuse me. So anyway, over here, we also have a big minion wave pushing top, so that's trouble. There they go. They're going to go for that Baron. Here I am over here. I was considering just trying to backdoor into the base, but the rest of the team asked me to come over here and join in the fight. Thought that would be more useful than trying to backdoor there. So anyway, over here, you can see we've got that huge minion wave pushing top. Their team is sort of baiting Baron. We need another Clairvoyance to come in from Jaje. what we're going to do here is, because of that huge minion wave pushing top lane, we are actually going to have the other 4 champs stick around Baron, and then I'm going to head back to top lane to start pushing that back. So once again here, unfortunately though, Judge is going to get caught by a speaker ult, and so we're going to force an engage. We don't really want, we're actually in a bad position. You can see Judge is going to get killed right at the start of the fight, so that's going to be in contrast to our previous engage. I've got pop my ult, I've got my poison running. We're going to be able to kill Atlas first. I'm trying to get in and get after Mookie and Speaker, but you can see a nice ult there by Seirun. Gonna pick up and toss Seirun because he was really low. I was hoping we could finish him off. We are gonna finish off Speaker there. You can see Seirun's really low, so we are gonna get him. Now trying to go after Cole, trying to go after Mookie, but they still have 2 of their 3 damaged characters up, which is not good. Now I'm just running, and they are gonna be able to chase me down. So before I die, I'm gonna fling Cole and get that kill. So that was a bad engage. They were able to initiate on terms that they wanted. That is getting the. They were able to initiate with, I think it was a speaker ult, Malzahar ult on Jajay. So unfortunately, they were able to start the engage on their terms. And that's mainly the reason why we lost that fight. We had bad positioning. I was really happy that I was able to get that kill on Cole. I was able to get off my fling and finish him off. You can see my fling does deal 380 magic damage. So that's pretty good. Otherwise, they'd have 2 champs, coming after us, and they would definitely get this inhib. As it is, you can see Jajay has just revived, and Jajay should be able to save our inhib. You can see, yes, he is going to be able to save that inhib. Like I said, if Cole had been up and they had both Jax and Twisted Fate over here, then they probably would have gotten our inhib, and that would have been not a good sign for us. But nevertheless, the other team did come out ahead on that engage. They definitely won that particular fight, and the fact that this inhib is exposed is not good news at all, because that means Mookie can start backdooring it with Twisted Fate ult right here. I mean, you can see Mookie's dealing a lot of damage, got the Death Cap, got the Lich Bane, so deals a whole lot of damage when he ults in. So I mean, this is going to be a constant problem for us now. He can ult this inhib. It's not protected by anything, so we have to be very careful about this. Basically, the longer the game that goes on, the worse it is for our team, just because of the threat of those Twisted Fate backdoors. So I'm going to do what I can to keep the lanes pushed, but as I said before, without that tower to protect the inhib, it doesn't really matter if top lane's pushed. Mookie can just ult into that bottom lane regardless. Or, excuse me, can ult into top lane regardless. In terms of my items, I finished Frozen Heart, so I'm going to have that passive running that reduces attack speed of nearby enemies. You can see nobody else on my team has Frozen Heart, so that's going to help out. Also gives me the huge armor buff and the mana, so you can see. And then I also picked up a Negatron Cloak just for the magic resistance, and look at this, you can see 199, 172, that's pretty good. Anyway, over here, once again, no one has still taken that second Baron yet, so we are considering going for this Baron. We are just trying to get a moment, if we can find the right moment to do it. This is worrisome here. You can see there's a huge wave of minions pushing in bottom lane, so we have to be careful about that. That is a trouble sign here, so we're going to try to at least bait Baron to try to get their team to come here, but their team really has the advantage here. They can just back and not engage if they want to. They can just not engage and wait for a Twisted Fate ult down here in bottom lane, which is going to push because they have that big minion wave. We can't send someone bottom, because if we send someone bottom, then we lose Baron, basically, and that obviously would be really bad. So here though, we thought we were going to go in, we're considering an engage there, but doesn't look like we're going to. Nevertheless though, this is sort of a bad situation for our team. Right now Mookie's going to pop ult, and he's going to ult to bottom lane, so he's going to go after that tower. In the meantime, we're going to pick an engage here, and we're actually going to catch the enemy team out. They're going to get the slow on Cole. There's the toss on Seirun, so we're going to catch him out, and this is not what their team wanted to be doing. They just wanted to play defensively right now while Mookie was in the process of backdooring. So we're going to pick off we're going to score 2 kills on their champ. Mookie is still backdooring here in the bottom lane, so we're going to get several kills here. We're going to score 3 kills on their team in mid, and I'm going to go back now to try to deal with Mookie. But this is not what their team wanted to be doing. They did not want to be engaging there. If they had just backed off and played defensively, like if they just have 4 defend here in mid on that tower, then they would be in really good shape. Anyway, so Mookie did take down bottom lane tower. Now he is going to get bottom lane inhibitor, and right now I'm going to go in on him because we have a 3-on-1 in their base. Like, we're going to take down this inhib. We still have Bristols and Develop right here in the base. The key thing for me right now is just make it so Mookie can't port back to base. Like, make it so he can't blue pill. We need to make sure that he can't get back here, because right now, Jajay, Develop, and Bristols are taking down the base. You can see no one's up on their team. Mookie's the only one alive, so I'm just chasing him. I'm going to make it so he can't blue pill. And if he can't blue pill, then we're just going to take down the Nexus, and we're going to straight win right here off of that, off of those picks that we scored in middle lane. So, yeah, that's actually going to be it, guys. We're going to win right here. And so we are actually able to take that game. Very interesting game. Alright, so let's wrap this up and try looking at the stats, try to make some sense of this. Here are the final stats. I guess I'm not going to talk too much about item builds. I'm sort of more interested in how that final ending of the game went down. The problem was the other team that we were up against, they really needed to be playing defensively there at the end of the game. They had a very, very strong position. All that they really needed to do was just play defensively in the lanes and then allow Twisted Fate to start backdooring us, because he could have, I mean, they had the huge minion wave pushing in bottom lane, and you saw Mookie teleported down there and then took out both the second level tower and the base tower and got the inhibitor. Or he could have just straight teleported to top lane where there was a naked inhibitor that wasn't protected by anything. So the other four champs really needed to play back, just play defensively, not engage, not get caught. And unfortunately for them, that's exactly what happened. I'm not sure exactly who it was, but they just needed to hang back by their towers. There really wasn't any reason to be walking around far, far away from the safety of their towers. And fortunately for us, we were able to catch them away from the safety of their towers and pick a fight that was a 5-on-4 fight, because of course Mookie was down in bottom lane. So we were able to pick a fight 5-on-4, engage, and we're actually able to kill everyone on their team. We were initially able to kill 3 members of the team, and then the rest of the team was able to get Speaker down in back by the base. So that's what we were ultimately able to do. We were fortunately able to pick a fight there and just be able to engage. And then once everybody on their team was down, because we were well into the game, the death timers were long enough that Bristol's, Varus, Developed, and Jade could push over the enemy base and just take down one inhib and then get the Nexus before the rest of their team revived. If that game had gone on much longer, we definitely would have lost that game, just because of the threat of the Twisted Fate backdooring was just something that we couldn't really stop. Once that tower was taken down in top lane and our inhibitor was exposed, there's nothing that we could really do to stop Twisted Fate from just teleporting in, taking down that inhibitor, and then putting us further behind. And once we had 1 or 2 hit inhibs down, then the lanes would have been stuck on our side of the map, and then we wouldn't have been able to come out of our base, and that just would have been the slow push to the end. Overall, though, I thought that was a very interesting game. I mean, it was close throughout. It was very tightly contested. You could see either team could have won, and I also thought it would be good to put up here because, for one thing, I was able to get Vayne in a game. You saw Bristol's displaying Vayne, and also, I haven't played Singed before, so for first Singed game, I thought this went okay. I mean, I didn't think I did anything particularly great, but I think it went okay overall. Anyway, once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I didn't have anything the last couple days. I just had too much time to throw up a video, but try to have some more stuff up this week. So until then, guys, take care, and I'll see you guys later.